What if everything you believed about what women want was wrong? There's a myth in modern dating that's been repeated so many times. Men just accept it as truth, that women only want men with money. But if that were true, how do broke men still win the girl? The truth is, money might open a few doors, but it's not what makes her stay. Women are biologically drawn to something deeper, signals of strength, leadership, emotional safety, traits that make her feel something no paycheck can. And the best part? These aren't gifts you're born with. They're disciplines, traits any man can build. In this video, I'll break down the 6 secret traits women crave, far beyond money. These aren't tricks. They're real, grounded signals of masculine power and identity. If you've ever wondered how some men attract incredible women without showing off, without chasing, this is your answer. Stick around, because once you understand these 6 traits, you'll never see women or yourself the same way again. Let's get into it. 1. Presence over performance. There's a certain type of man who doesn't speak loudly, yet everyone feels him when he walks in. The air changes, the room reorients. He doesn't chase attention, it follows him. And it's not the watch on his wrist or the volume of his voice. It's something older, something deeper, something primal. His presence speaks before he does, and women feel it before they understand why. This isn't flirtation, it's biological recognition, a quiet, ancestral yes. At her core, female psychology is wired to seek one thing: what feels strong, what feels safe, what feels steady. Evolution taught her this. A man's presence is a survival signal. When a man carries himself with quiet strength and self-respect, without seeking approval, he's not just attractive, he's biologically magnetic. His confidence doesn't beg, his calm doesn't break, his direction doesn't wait for permission. You don't need to be the richest man in the room. You just need to be the most grounded one. But you do need something rarer than approval, respect from other men, because that's where real value starts. When men see you as competent, when you walk like you own your time, that's when value becomes visible. To her biology, it signals something primal. You can lead, you can protect, you don't collapse under pressure. That's when she leans in, not out of logic, but instinct. Before her mind catches up, her body already knows. She notices posture first, how you move without rushing, how your tone is firm, but never forced. She watches how you handle friction. Do you flinch, or do you hold your frame while others try to shake it? These moments speak louder than compliments, louder than clever lines, louder than status signals. High-value presence doesn't chase, it pulls, like gravity, and what it triggers goes deeper than looks. It touches something ancestral, something ancient in her nervous system. There's a reason some men are remembered long after the room forgets everyone else. They didn't demand attention, they earned it. Through stillness, not noise, not with charm, but with presence. In a world where image screams louder than truth, a man with quiet strength is a glitch in the matrix, and what's rare becomes irresistible. So, here's the truth. Be the man she can feel, even in your silence. When you walk with composure, direction, and earned respect, you don't need to impress anymore. You are the standard. You simply are. And that kind of presence, she never forgets. 2. Social gravity. There's something quietly magnetic about a man who moves through a room like he belongs to it. He doesn't need to dominate the space. He just knows how to be felt inside it. His presence pulls people in, not with effort, but with ease. People laugh near him, not because he's performing, but because he reads the room like a language. He listens closely, speaks calmly, adapts without losing himself. She doesn't even know why, but something inside her says, this man is safe. This man can be trusted. This man won't be forgotten. Sociability isn't about being loud. It's about being open without begging for attention. It's about emotional presence, the ability to connect without losing frame. A man who connects easily shows one primal truth: he belongs, and evolution wired women to spot that instantly. To the feminine instinct, the man embraced by his tribe isn't just likable, he's trusted, and trust is the gate to attraction. He's been socially vetted, the kind of man people follow when things matter, the one they laugh with and lean on when pressure hits. That hits harder than a flawless jawline or a perfectly timed pickup line. Because what she really wants is certainty in human form. When a woman sees you respected by the room, it doesn't read as popular. It reads as safe, capable, and chosen by other men. It tells her this man can navigate life, not just survive it, but lead inside it. It shows you're not isolated, not desperate, not awkward. You hold social gravity, and people orbit that for a reason. That's not just charisma, that's tribal power. And her biology pays attention, and in silence it answers one of her deepest unspoken questions. If I open up to him, will I be safe? Will I be understood? Or will I be left regretting it? A man with strong social gravity answers that. Without flexing, without speaking, his world speaks for him. You can't fake this kind of presence. Charm is cheap. Real influence takes discipline and depth. It begins with masculine communication. Clear, intentional, no performance, no masks. It's how you ask what matters, how you remember what others forget, and how you make people feel seen, not scanned. It's quiet leadership without chasing spotlight, and the masculine humility to follow when someone else is rising, because your worth isn't fragile. Humor matters, not the scripted punchline, but the quick wit. The kind that proves you're tuned in, not zoned out. Present, alert, alive to the room's pulse. You don't need to own the spotlight, but you do need to build a circle, nurture connection, and show up like a man who keeps his word. That's how you become the man others trust. Not because you're perfect, but because you're real. And when a woman sees you trusted, she doesn't just see you. She starts to believe in you, because the man who others trust becomes the man she can't stop thinking about. And curiosity is the gateway to desire. Let me ask you this, my friend. Why do you think women trust a man more when other men respect him first? Comment your theory. I'll be reading through the smartest ones. 3. Confidence. She can feel before you speak. Before you say a single word, she already feels something. Something in your energy either calms her or raises her guard. It's in the way you enter a room without shrinking, how your eyes meet hers, steady, unshaken, without asking permission. That unspoken energy, it's not arrogance, it's inner alignment, the kind that makes approval irrelevant. And nothing pulls a woman closer than a man who trusts himself before asking anyone else to. Confidence isn't loud, it doesn't flex, it doesn't chase attention, it simply exists. It's the calm inside chaos, the unshakable certainty that doesn't need a crowd to clap. She feels it in your voice, steady, low, unforced. In your choices, made without checking who's watching. In your posture, built by knowing who you are without needing to say it. It's in the pause before you speak, in the silence that holds weight, in the way you listen, not to impress, but to understand. What makes this kind of energy magnetic is that it gives her what most men can't: emotional safety, not protection from danger, but from doubt. A woman exhales around a man who isn't easily shaken. Because if you're steady, she doesn't have to be. Your stillness tells her one thing: she doesn't have to carry it all alone anymore. That balance, that emotional weight you carry without noise, is often what she's searching for, even if she can't name it. Becoming that man isn't about pretending to be unbothered. It's about actually being grounded, even when no one's watching. It starts with the one thing most men ignore: self-trust. If you don't believe you, why should she? It's built in private, by keeping promises no one sees and stacking quiet wins no one claps for. It strengthens every time you respond instead of react. When you stay calm in moments that used to control you, it deepens when you no longer need noise to feel important. When you stop chasing stimulation and learn to sit in silence without feeling small. Emotional independence doesn't mean you're cold. It means you're whole before she even walks in. Women don't fall for perfection. They fall for presence, the kind that doesn't flinch or fold. A man who walks without rushing, decides without fear, and stands without needing applause becomes unforgettable. In a world full of noise and dopamine, he becomes her place of stillness. And stillness, that rare masculine quiet, is where trust is born. Here's the quiet truth. When you fully believe in yourself, she doesn't need to question you. Confidence isn't a performance, it's a lifestyle. And it speaks, even when you don't. And when it's real, she feels it before you ever try to prove it. 4. The leadership. She likes you to do it. There's a rhythm a woman feels when a man knows how to lead. It flows without force, but the moment he hesitates, that rhythm breaks. Real leadership isn't control. It's direction, calm, certain, forward movement. Especially when things feel unclear. It's about stepping forward when the room goes quiet, when no one else knows what to do, but you do. That quiet strength, it's what lets her exhale. It invites her back into her feminine, because you're grounded enough to hold the moment. She may be strong, she may be sharp, successful, and independent, but she's tired of carrying it all. And in her most honest moments, she craves a man who can share the weight. Not take over, but hold space with strength. A man who makes decisions with clarity and moves with unshakable certainty. She doesn't need you to take over. She needs to trust that you know where you're going and that you're not afraid to take her with you. You see this in the smallest moments. When you pick the place, when you plan the day, when you sense her mood shift and lean in instead of pulling away. These tiny moments speak volumes. They reveal a deeper trait, the ability to hold space without fear or flinch. Leadership doesn't begin with grand gestures. It begins in the quiet corners of daily life, saying what you mean, standing by your word, choosing direction, and only adjusting to improve, not to please. A woman feels most at ease when you're not afraid to carry the moment, especially when she's tired of carrying everything alone. There's a brutal truth behind her desire to feel led. A woman cannot soften in uncertainty. She may play along, but inside she's on edge. If you hesitate, she will fill the space. Not because she wants to, but because she has no choice. But when you lead with calm certainty, she leans in, not because you're overpowering, but because you make her feel safe enough to surrender. And safety, it doesn't come from words, not from promises, not from plans. It comes from presence that doesn't shake when pressure shows up. In that space, she no longer has to manage, fix, or steer. She can just be. And that's what draws her in deeper, again and again. Not perfection, but presence with purpose. 5. The man with a mission is magnetic to her. There's something magnetic about a man who knows exactly where he's going. It's not the money, it's not the women, it's the mission he's locked in on, the reason he wakes up and moves with meaning. A man with purpose doesn't wake up chasing dopamine, he wakes up chasing destiny. Women feel drawn to that energy, often without knowing why. It's not charm, it's not talk, it's trajectory, it's the depth, the drive, the quiet fire that says, "I'm here to build more than a routine." When a man lives for something bigger than comfort, he stops blending in and starts standing out. He's not just filling space, he's carving out his place with purpose, pressure, and direction. Purpose becomes his compass, and suddenly every step feels intentional. You hear it in how he talks about his dream. You see it in how he handles resistance. You feel it in how he carries himself, even when no one's watching. Ambition tied to vision. That creates an energy that's undeniably attractive because it's rare. But here's the truth, wanting something isn't enough. Clarity is what turns a desire into a mission. It's about locking in a long-term vision and walking it with consistency, even when it sucks. Without vision, a man becomes a leaf in the wind, drifting from one distraction to the next, slowly forgetting who he is. But when a man sets goals tied to legacy, not ego, his life begins to radiate a pull others can't explain. Women don't crave men who are just surviving. They're drawn to men who are building something bigger than themselves, something that outlives comfort and ego. Building purpose begins with the hard questions. What legacy do you want to leave? And what are you willing to sacrifice to get there? What are the values you'd bleed for, not just talk about? That's where your real mission begins. That's the foundation of long-term masculinity. Goals that aren't just big, but built on meaning. Whether it's building a business, impacting people, or reshaping the man in the mirror, it has to matter deeply, or it won't last. Comfort numbs, purpose ignites. If your life isn't uncomfortable, you're not chasing anything real. Men who chase comfort fade. Men who chase purpose leave impact behind. That's the difference. A man driven by mission becomes magnetic because his life inspires without needing to explain itself. When your days are lived with intention, you stop chasing people. They start following you. Purpose isn't just a goal list. It's your soul in motion. It's sacrifice, direction, weight. And that's what women feel, even before you speak it. Because the man on a mission, he doesn't chase impressions. He becomes unforgettable. 6. The calm man is the one she trusts. In a world that's always screaming, the calm man stands out like fire in fog. It's not just about staying cool in an argument. It's about being unshakable when the moment tries to pull you out of your frame. This is emotional maturity. The ability to control your reactions and stay grounded when chaos shows up uninvited. For women, emotional stability isn't a bonus. It's a requirement. Without it, she never fully relaxes into the relationship. She feels safe with the man who doesn't get emotionally hijacked, who doesn't let temporary feelings steer permanent direction. Emotional control isn't silence. It's intentional presence, knowing exactly when to speak and when to hold the frame. It's about holding tension without collapsing, creating a space where she can be emotional and still feel understood, not punished. When a man responds instead of reacts, she knows she can trust him when it actually matters. That's what builds psychological safety, the foundation of real feminine openness. Women need to know, when life throws chaos at you, you won't flinch. Because when tensions rise and emotions spike, your stillness becomes her anchor. But this kind of emotional power, it's not a trait, it's a discipline. It starts with knowing yourself deeply, So you stop leaking emotion trying to be understood by people who don't even understand themselves. Call it Stoicism, call it masculine clarity. It's the power to accept what you can't control and respond with intention, not impulse, especially when rejection hits or when an argument flares. The man who stays calm wins without fighting. That 1 second pause. It's not weakness, it's masculine power. It separates the man from the boy. And here's what most men miss. Emotional stability isn't a one-time flex. It's a daily habit. Repetition, not performance. Show up steady. Show up grounded. Show up the same, even when life isn't. Over time, your reactions become measured. And that consistency, it earns you respect in the eyes of women and other men. It's not the big speeches that reveal emotional strength. It's the small, everyday choices that say, I don't fold under pressure. Emotional connection matters, but without stability, that connection feels unsafe, and she will pull away. She needs to know you're not another variable, you're the constant, the man she can count on. When you're emotionally steady, the relationship stops feeling like survival and starts becoming something worth building. In a world that constantly shifts, a calm man is the anchor she never knew she needed, until she felt what it was like to finally exhale. Let's get one thing straight. The idea that women only want money, it's not just outdated, it's a lie that keeps men chasing the wrong things, because what really pulls her in, what she actually remembers, are the things money can't fake. Confidence that doesn't beg, leadership that doesn't force, purpose that makes you move differently, social gravity that makes people lean in, calm masculinity that turns chaos into safety. These are the things that light her up on a level she can't explain, because they don't just attract her body, they speak directly to her nervous system. And here's the best part. These aren't traits you're born with. They're earned in the silence, in the sweat, in the self-discipline. You don't need a perfect face. You don't need a luxury lifestyle. You need to become the kind of man who commands respect without saying a word. Because when you have presence, when you move with purpose, and when you live with emotional control, you stop chasing women and you start attracting real connection. So here's the question. What's one trait you're working on right now? And how has it changed your relationships? Drop it in the comments. I want to hear from real men doing real work. And if this video gave you clarity, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because we're just getting started. I'll see you in the next one.